Hey there, Internet friends. Welcome to That D Plus Show. Class is in session for the only show from that nerdy site that lets you know what kind of quality to expect right from the name. I'm your host, Trevor Starkey, and each week I sit down with a guest to talk about a Disney Plus offering of their choosing. This show is made possible entirely by the support of our patrons over at patreon.com/thatnerdysite. So if you like the show, you can support us over there. We would definitely appreciate it, but if you can't, no big deal. The fact that you're listening is awesome, and of course, we would love it if you like, subscribe, rate, review, share the podcast with your friends, all that fun stuff. Joining me today, no guest today. It's another solo show, and specifically, I wanted to do a follow-up after watching the Disney Family Singalong last week. I sat down with the Volume 2 this week, just because I was in a nice little sing-along mood, I guess, after last week's episode. So a little bit of the history on this one. This came out on May 10th, 2020 this year, about a month after the Volume 1. Volume 2, and Volume 2 was themed specifically around Mother's Day, that being when it came out. Runtime was 48 minutes, cutting about 5 minutes off of Volume 1's runtime. Roll call, pretty much the same in terms of like director and writer as the last time. Last time around, it was directed by Hamish Hamilton, who's also done the Emmy Awards and The Little Mermaid Live. He also directed, obviously, the first one. We did have a segment director on this one that was not on the Volume 1 segment, and that is James B. Merriman, who I imagine got involved because he has been doing the Reunited Apart with Josh Gad, so he probably had something to do with the Josh Gad segment that's in here. But he also, this caught my eye, one of the first things he worked on was the WWE Cross IGN Esports Showdown a few years ago, that Greg Miller hosted with Xavier Woods from Up Up Down Down. I believe my friend Kirsten was one of the I think she was still an events coordinator at IGN at the time, so I'm pretty sure she had worked on that. So that was really cool to see like that pop up and be like, oh, hey, that's a cute little connection between the two things. The writers, again, this time around, Mason Steinberg and Brian Strickland, who Mason Steinberg had worked on the Oscars and the MTV Movie Awards, and Brian Strickland working on The Masked Singer. So I imagine they pretty much wrote Ryan Seacrest's little bits. Just kind of running through the numbers this time around. The show kicked off with Kermit and Seth Rogen, as well as a whole bunch of other people who were involved with the show, doing a little bit of a variation of the Muppet Show theme by doing basically the Muppet Show theme, but with a few of the lyrics swapped in for Disney Singalong. That was a cute little opening number, way to kind of introduce the show. And also, they had a ton of Muppets in there, and that was just always... Muppets are always fun. Muppets always add to a show. This time around, instead of Kristen Chenoweth, you had Titus Burgess doing the vocal warm-ups. Titus Burgess introduced here as Sebastian in Little Mermaid on Broadway, but most people probably know him from the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt show. Sorry about that. Up next was Seth Rogen, Billy Eichner, Donald Glover, and the actor who played young Simba in the Lion King musical, doing Hakuna Matata. That was fun. It was very much the Hakuna Matata, one of the few things I appreciated out of the live-action remake, because they had some fun with kind of like what to expect out of that number, specifically as it pertains to Pumbaa's story and stuff. And Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen were a lot of fun in that in their respective roles there as Timon and Pumbaa. You had Rebel Wilson doing Poor Unfortunate Souls from The Little Mermaid. It was fine. Just kind of her singing with the movie playing in the background, basically. One of my favorite numbers of this one came from a collaboration of a lot of the Disney on Broadway performers doing You'll Be in My Heart. And this was one of the first real ones that kind of put the focus and put the spotlight on Mother's Day. You'll Be in My Heart, of course, being from Tarzan. This is also the first one I think I actually started just to, aimlessly or mindlessly start singing along with. But it was really cool seeing people from Disney's Tarzan on Broadway, Disney's Aida, the main girl from Disney's Newsies on Broadway that you can see also on Disney Plus was in there. It was cool seeing her pop up with her husband, who was another Disney on Broadway person. So the two of them were actually able to record together, and they also had their young child in there at some point. So yeah, it was just a really cool number of a handful of like Broadway caliber performers singing "You'll Be in My Heart," and "You'll Be in My Heart" is just a good song. Phil Collins knows his stuff, as the internet is seemingly constantly reminded of. Miss Piggy did a little segment in there. Kiki Palmer and a number of Dancing with the Stars people did "Zero to Hero" from Hercules. That was another fun one. Um, uh, there were a pair of Dancing with the Stars couples that were basically able to do segments of the song, having fun with dressing up in costume and stuff. And then you had, I think, three others that were kind of dancing in isolation, but they did some real cool stuff, using the like vanity mirrors or whatnot to kind of like put people in the mirror, and they just did some real cool kind of trickery with the camera put-ins to make it more connected, I guess. Dina Menzel and Ben Platt did "A Whole New World," which is fine. They're other Broadway caliber singers. I didn't quite know why "A Whole New World" was their choice, but okay. Halsey did "Part of Your World" from Little Mermaid. That was very good. She was in there kind of singing into her, very professional kind of microphone setup, decked out in her, Ariel-like red hair. So shout out to her. Katy Perry and Nugget, her pup, were singing "Baby Mine" from Dumbo. This one gets a special shout out because Katy Perry and Nugget were both completely dressed as Dumbo elephants in big old Dumbo costumes. So, shout out to that. For like when Ryan Seacrest was like, they're singing "Baby Mine" from Dumbo, I was like, I don't even know what song that is, and sure enough, I still didn't. But they definitely went all out on the costumes there. Josh Gad had a little segment there that I alluded to earlier, doing a video call with his parents, who, much like I did on last week's show, absolutely adored Derek and his "Be My Guest" or be our guest from the first Disney Singalong. And they were basically just like singing, Derek's praises and stuff, while Josh is trying to like dedicate his performance to his mom there. It was a good little chuckle there. And Josh Gad then went on to sing "When I Am Older" from Frozen 2. It was fine. Anika Noni Rose sang "Almost There" from The Princess and the Frog, and that was really cool, especially when I think in the context of things. This was probably before the news broke that they were going to be remodeling Splash Mountain and turning it into a Princess and the Frog themed ride. So really cool to see Anika Noni Rose kind of get a spotlight here to put some flavor into Princess and the Frog. She had a couple like backup singers that I don't know if they were like family members or not. But younger singers kind of working with her. Haley and Chloe, I think, were their names. Maybe I didn't jot that down. John Legend and Jennifer Hudson did a wonderful rendition of "Beauty and the Beast." That was very nice, with the film playing on John Legend's piano, like his grand piano kind of cover. It was a pretty cool little effect. Shakira came in and did "Try Everything" from Zootopia, and at this point it got me thinking about how the year kicked off with Shakira doing just a killer performance at the Super Bowl halftime show with Jennifer Lopez, I think, was also involved, right? And just like how unfortunate it is, because this could have been like just a great year for her to kind of be back out on the road. And I'm sure she's like been touring regularly and stuff, but like with the momentum of the Super Bowl performance and just freaking killing it behind her on that, her doing "Try Everything" here just kind of got me a little sad, because she could have had a really great year, and unfortunately, with the state of the world, probably has not gotten to capitalize on kind of the momentum that she was, I think, picking up. Miguel and Christina Aguilera did "Remember Me" / "Recuérdame," which was lovely. Miguel, I feel like I've seen. I don't know his, what he is normally, like what his big songs are or anything like that. But his "Remember Me" was phenomenal, and Christina Aguilera felt like she sang the "Recuérdame" part. So basically, she was singing the song in Spanish, and that was lovely. And shout out to them for incorporating that. And B, she was actually in a like recording studio this time with a more professional setup. So I wonder if a lot of people had kind of commented, like I did last week, about her kind of in-home karaoke system setup that she had done in last week's show, because her audio quality much better this time around. So shout out to that. But once again, the standout came from Derek, Haley, and Derek and Julianne Hough and Haley, Derek's partner, doing this time a combo number from Mary Poppins of Step in Time and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Derek and Haley started out with Step in Time, just crushing it with their dancing again, just as we saw in Be Our Guest last time around. And this time they went, even more in on the editing, in that there were, 4 to 6 different Dereks like in a scene, basically all dancing in time with one another, and they basically composited in, the multiple versions of him into a single shot. Just really impressive stuff there. And then they kind of switched it over to Julianne to do Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. She had some fun kind of doing it with herself. Both of them were using some fun camera trickery to play around with, things going into the Mary Poppins bag. And it was just a really good number. And then they kind of like, they weren't able to perform together again, but they did kind of do a kind of crossover between the two numbers to round out the thing. And just, again, they went above and beyond anybody else in this thing. I was hoping after the first one that like more people would have been encouraged to, or Disney would have like put a little oomph behind some people doing more versions like that of BR, like the BR guest from the first one, instead of just kind of like, hey, we're singing in front of a camera or our iPhone or whatever. But nope. Instead, you just really got like this standout one here of the Mary Poppins medley. And so, yeah, shout out to them. And then lastly, rounding out the show was Sabrina Carpenter and concert pianist Long Long doing a duet of Your Mother and Mine. The pianist playing the song and Sabrina Carpenter singing Your Mother and Mine from Peter Pan, while a kind of montage of "We love you, Mom," "Happy Mother's Day," "Thank you for being on the front lines," kind of images and videos kind of played to wrap up the show. So yeah, it was another nice nice little in and out, in an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, kind of enjoying some of these songs. I felt this one definitely probably a little bit less of a like showstoppers this time around. I probably liked the first one a little bit better, but this one definitely still had some solid numbers. And again, just like with the last one, if a number doesn't work for you, it's over in a couple minutes and you're on to the next one, and hopefully that one has a better ring to it. So a lot of fun. Again, if you haven't checked out the Disney Family Singalongs and you just like Disney music, go check this one out in Volume 2, or last week's Volume 1. So yeah, I enjoyed it here, watching it a few months, removed. I think it's still nice. Obviously, like, it's not Mother's Day, but still, like, it's easy and understandable that, okay, they did this on Mother's Day, so that's why there are a few more mother-themed little montages in the mix there. So again, I give this an A. I think they're supporting a good cause. Feeding matters, to help people out during this tough times. I'm surprised that it stopped here, especially given that we've gone another few months. So it's interesting that Disney kind of didn't keep this going. Not that they would have done necessarily a Father's Day one or something like that, but it seems like they would have kept it going while people are still kind of very much in their homes right now. So it's odd that they didn't kind of keep driving, especially because it seems like it's a very low kind of cost production to do. But so be it. A little bit of extra credit if you liked this suggestion. Other suggestions from Disney Plus are, of course, the Volume 1 of the Disney Family Singalong, as well as a celebration of the music from Coco, The Lion King, Tarzan, Hercules, the live-action Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, and the live-action Dumbo, which I completely forgot was a thing until I saw it there in the in the recommendations thing. Like, even listening to Katy Perry do the thing, I had completely forgotten that they released a live-action Dumbo last year with Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito and a handful of other people. I'll have to sit down and watch that one at some point just to see how it was, see how it turned out. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week's episode of That D Plus Show. Another quick, short one. I'm going to try and collaborate with some of my D Plus crew here next week, so it's not just me talking for 15-20 minutes into a microphone. But we will see about that next time. So thank you for joining me to discuss the Disney Singalong Volume 2, Disney Family Singalong Volume 2. You can follow me at Trevor J. Starkey on Twitter. You can follow all of the latest from That Nerdy Site at That Nerdy Site. If you'd like to be on the show, you can tweet me at Trevor J. Starkey with kind of what you want to come on and chat about. Or you can go to thatnerdysite.com/D+guest and let me know what Disney Plus offering you would like to discuss. If you liked what you heard, please like, rate, review, subscribe, share the podcast with your friends, and all that fun stuff. And if you do feel so inclined, you can always help support us on Patreon at patreon.com/thatnerdysite. Thank you again for joining me. As always, stay nerdy, be good to each other, and class dismissed.